City and doesn't smell very well. That's what it was.
I was actually, speaking of our interview, I was interviewed by WEAR Channel 3 all the way back in 1984 about that certain topic.
Really?
Yes, I was on the news, on Channel 3 News, 6 p.m. in 1984.
Oh wow, that's small town stuff. I actually want to get more details on that, but for this next segment, I want to bring in Ms. Jennifer Carey Fox, who claims Fort Walton Beach as her adopted hometown, and I want to get some more background as to how she came to that conclusion. That's always music to my ears when I hear people expressing love for this area. And she also has her thumb on the pulse of a lot of things going on around the community, specifically downtown. And Ms. Jennifer Carey Fox, how are you doing today? I have to at least defend myself. I'm a visual person, so I identify people as, if you give me three names and that's how I kind of know you, like through Facebook. That's. But anyway, noted, Jen. No, we definitely want to talk about
We
football.
do.
All right, the whole 10 yards. I like it. I want to confirm you said El Matador and not the Matador. That's great. I love hearing a good transplant story. Welcome to the area. And do you consider yourself a local at this point? And if not, how much longer do you think you'll have to live here before you achieve that status? I'll tell you what, if that name hasn't been trademarked already, I mean, I'm already seeing decals in my head. I know all the good ideas are taken already, but Snokel sounds. Ooh. Well, thank you. Keep talking. Make something up, even. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Yesterday, I was walking around downtown Fort Walton Beach, just looking for inspiration for things to talk about on the radio. Believe it or not, 10 hours a week is not the easiest thing to do. And I walked into the library and stumbled upon one of the trees themselves. The Fort Walton Beach Library has a very creative Christmas tree that has been constructed from old books that are opened. Opened up as wide as they can, and they kind of, it's like a pyramid structure because that's the shape of a Christmas tree. And it was just really neat. I didn't realize at the time what I was looking at, but now it makes complete sense that that was one of the markers from around town. So you can kind of just walk around town and discover these. Go ahead. Hey, Jen, what's the scholarship fund all about? Well, Jen, thank you so much for joining us. And I also want to thank Ms. Candace Tanner, like you said, because she has an incredible downtown Fort Walton Beach coffee club. And the next meeting of that is, I believe, next Thursday, December. Okay, we got 1 minute, so let's go. I would love to have you as a reoccurring guest because you do have your thumb on the pulse of all things downtown Fort Walton, and it's great seeing you all around town. It's Yes, well, they have Fort Walton Beach postal addresses, so I'm naturally including them in that as well. But yes, it's so great to see a transplant, a snokel, if you will, come and do what you're doing. I'd love to have you back. I love it. I love it. Ms. Jen Fox. Okay, well, we hope to see you. I'll use my binoculars to try to spot you in the crowd. We hope to have a full stadium tonight at Etheridge Stadium. Fort Walton Beach, what we're doing.
Thanks for coming on.
Okay, all right. So. How long do we have? How long? How long do we have? All right, cool. I'm getting hot. I'm gonna take this sweater off.
Why is he so elusive?
Who? Oh, because he switched instruments like 3 times, so it was hard to remember which one he.
He's probably having surgery that day.
Who are you? Can I I'm gonna unplug from this, and I'm going to. Can I use your charger to charge this from the wall so that I can actually get some juice going on this guy?
I have an extra cord in the car if you need it.
I just need the block. All right, so that should be good. That should be charging. Good. This is yours, so don't get it lost. All right, so we'll do so weather. Kickoff is going to be 54 degrees.
Karen Guglielmo.
Doesn't age, and has always been.
Isn't she a news? Something to do with the news?
She did
down
for a
in
while.
South
I think
Florida?
I think she may have retired and did the mom thing for a little bit. I'm not. It's hard. She's not as public.
She's not like me. She doesn't have a face for radio. She has a face for TV.
She's
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes.
She's unquestionably beautiful.
Yes. Wonder how Kristen is.
Huh?
I wonder how his sister Kristen is.
I remember her. She visited FSU a couple times when I was.
Okay. 736 days, huh?
Since when?
FSU's won a road game.
Oh my God. You
700?
should have done that on the radio.
No,
just
I'm
out
not
of the
gonna do
blue.
that to I'm not going to do it. Look who I'm coming from.
No, I mean with this we got an hour and a half left, so there's plenty of sports talk and stuff. This is these next 2 segments are going to be kind of ad-libbed by me. I've got some local events to talk about. And,
Just point if you want me to tune in.
okay. Your most gracious host.
The Elegant Toast. Turn on Kevin with the Land on YouTube. Kevin with the Land is all one word. All one word. Chef's watching.
Hmm?
Chef's watching.
Chef is watching. What's up, bud?
We both want to say it, but we're not going to say it.
Yeah.
Say it and do the.
If I knew sign language,
Yeah. I know one word in sign language. I was going to play.
they could just do like the one sign and
Yeah.
it's just speak for itself. You know.
We'll play that.
Just make sure that you turn your head a little bit, so just talk into the microphone the whole time. 1 minute? All right.
Feel like Sammy Hagar.
Sammy Hagar. A 9-minute segment. The length of the segment shouldn't matter. It's how you use the segment.
Veteran knowledge.
And does width of the segment count for nothing these days?
No.
Just let me know if you need to cut the segment or just leave it as is.
The ads in this are better than the pictures. Arthritis.
What's that racket? What's that noise? Who are all those football boys? It's the team of great renown, Choctaw Indians, back in town.
After a 1-week hiatus.
That's right. You are listening to Gareth Stearns and Kevin Horgan and Brady Brooks coming at you all the way until 5 o'clock today. Then we have a short respite, and then we're going to have our pregame coverage of tonight's Choctawhatchee football game starting at 6:30 on this same station, 94.3, News Talk 94.3. Your home of this daily talk show. It's kind of a catch-all show, I guess. It's kind of like the radio version of Laugh-In, I guess. We're going to do a little bit of local history, a little bit of breaking news, community events, in-studio interviews, your daily dose of all things related to Okaloosa County, and more specifically the south part, Fort Walton Beach and its neighboring municipalities. You're listening to Gareth Stearns and Kevin Horgan and Brady. Guys, are you getting excited about tonight's game or what?
I'm hype for tonight's game. I was talking to a significant other of mine last night, and I was trying to explain to her. She said, "What's wrong?" I said, "I'm nervous." She said, "You're always nervous for playoff games." I said, "This is different." I said, "I'm also nervous to win," which is that's uncharted territory before for me. I've never been nervous to win, but if Choctaw does in fact climb that mountain and advance to the state championship game, next week I will have to do more shuffling than a blackjack dealer to make that happen.
But you know what? What a good problem that would be to have.
I can't think of a worse one to have. And you deserve it. Brady, one thing I wanted to bring up is how fortunate you are for this to be your senior year, to have a run like this. And this is not only going to be something that you remember the rest of your life, but, Gareth, I do believe our senior year, we finished a whopping 4-6.
It was, our entire matriculation. There we go. I said it again. Drink. During our 4 years at Choctaw, it wasn't. We didn't have the best teams in the world. I think Billy Lucky's '95 squad probably took us the furthest.
Well, they started the season top 5 in the USA Today and went 7-5 with Billy Lucky, Larry Larkins, Robbie Wheeler. I mean, they had a bevy of talent. They had Coach Fayard, who had proved that he can win the big game. And I don't know, that was a long time ago. I don't know what went wrong that year, but I can tell you from a football talent standpoint, that was one of the most talented teams Choctaw's ever had. Dude, and they didn't even sniff the second round of the playoffs.
You're right. They did have a lot of D1 talent. Robbie Wheeler went to Houston, Larry Larkins,
Troy State back then.
And of course, Billy Lucky went to Clemson.
That year, Brady, we beat Lake City in the first round, 37-15, and then we hosted. I don't remember who we hosted until we traveled and beat Pine Forest 30-29, who was number 1 in the state. Jeff Peters, Choctaw royalty, and I and his son. We talk about this all the time. At kickoff, it was 18 degrees with 26 to 30 mile an hour winds. And I said, after being at that game, you ought to be wearing shorts and tank tops the rest of your life.
You know, that's the angle that we've really appreciated the most from you, Brady. Not just your willingness to dive into whatever you're asked to do, but being the social pipeline to that student body community and letting us know things like that we can only, you know, speculate behind the scenes, but you know, you're getting firsthand information oftentimes from these athletes that are your buddies as well. So that's just really cool. And like you said earlier, I would not blame you at all if you were to find yourself down into the student section for your final game. I'd love to have you still try to get out to
Final
Coach
home
Beasley
game.
and maybe get some interview time and some analysis. Your statistical analysis will certainly be missed in the press box, but I would not blame you 1 second for going down there and leading all of the student cheers that you have so awesomely organized all season long.
Earned and deserved. Like I said, Gareth and I senior year, our team was 4-6, so we don't know this feeling. So you deserve the chance to enjoy this with your friends and with your classmates.
Sure. Yeah, speaking of teams from the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, Plantation is where the suburb that the American Heritage Patriots are coming from. They made the road trip up yesterday through all that muck and messy weather that's kind of carried over to today. I want to give you a brief weather report from Plantation. This is the weather that they are used to playing. Their high today in Plantation is 82, and their low is 68 degrees. So their low temperature at Plantation is 2 degrees higher than our high temperature today. And at game time, we're projected to have 54-degree temperatures, which is about 23 degrees less than what they would be experiencing had it been a home game in Plantation. So just a little teaser about that. And of course, we're going to talk more about Choctaw and American heritage and just the community in general in our next segment. This is Gareth Stearns, Kevin Horgan, and Brady Brooks coming at you from Fort Walton Beach, What We Did. Thank you so much for listening. How long? How long? Okay, cool. So it's a short break.
Just use your water bottle.
Okay.
That place is pretty cool, Red Bar.
Is that?
That place, Brad Bar, is actually pretty cool. I
It is
finally
really
went
cool.
there for my nephew's birthday party last year. It's funny they had all these retro video games. Everybody's crowded around the Wii playing bowling.
I had to lose a layer. It was getting hot. Is that ever going to start charging? It's starting to get worried. Battery level 2 will charge for a few minutes before boom. That's fine.
I feel like Hatfield on a year and a half.
What's that?
I feel like Hatfield on a year and a half with these things. Not the it followed.
Trash fire is gone.
But we are not going to do the it followed him part. Don't worry, guys. You're safe.
Oh, well, this I had my first F-bomb unintentionally dropped at the end of that song that played yesterday.
Was it that good, or was it?
Well, it was just a well placed in the lyrics, and wasn't ready for it.
I think Georgia's probably had a few of those for them this week.
like it, Brady. I like the music. I like the dichotomy between the technology generation and when Ballpark Frank does it. I like his musical selections as well. It's nice to hear different things every day.
You want it now? I already have it ready in the chamber, so anytime you want.
All right, that's good to know. And you mentioned that Irish Bill is going to be our guest. He's actually going to be our afternoon interview of the day, and that's sponsored by Miracle Strip Body Shop. Is serving Okaloosa County all the way back since 1966. Mr. James DeStaven, who not only is my first local sponsor of this show for Walton Beach What We're Doing, but he was my first sponsor for Choctaw football, and that's why I always play his commercial first during every single Choctaw football game, because I owe it to that man. He has believed in me, and if you are liking what you're hearing, and we don't exist without the support of local businesses like Miracle Strip Body Shop. So if you want to reach out and sponsor a half hour or the show itself or my microphone, or if you want to come in and do in studio interviews and talk about your business, this is what this show is designed to do, and we want to make sure that we run radio commercials to support your business that will go across our three stations. We are known as Omni Broadcasting. We are a local radio company. We exist on Beale Parkway, right next to the Silver Mine and Dosarac House restaurant in that same shopping center. And we go home to our houses here locally, and we don't exist without the support of local listeners. So thank you so much to Miracle Strip Body Shop, who is going to be sponsoring our afternoon interview segment of the day in the 4 o'clock hour with Irish Bill Hamill, who like us wears the headset for a local school, the Navarre Raiders. Wow, that is just incredible. The community spirit. Kevin, do you think that you could do this for Niceville? If Niceville were in the same position?
You know, when I talked to you the other day, I said, I must be a bad person, because never in a million years could I picture myself sitting at Steve Riggs Stadium or Eagle Stadium rooting for them to win a state semifinal game. I am an old school guy where a rivalry is a rivalry. And this is another discussion I had with Seth Stringer today. I think social media has a big part of the rivalries not being at the level they were. Like Seth Stringer said, there was vandalism, there was roundup, there was paint, there was stolen items. So, it's a lot different of a ball game, but at the end of the day, this game does bring a community together.
I can tell you that not only would I do it, I've done it because not only did I attend the 1990 Choctaw State Championship run because duh, but the following year when Danny Werfel and Scott Holtz and E.G. Green had their run, I went to Florida Field and saw. That's the only time I've ever been to the field at Gainesville and saw them defeat St. Thomas Aquinas in a very good fashion. I mean, it wasn't even a close game. And so it's just great to see that level of community spirit, and I liken it kind of similar to college football in the way that people have a love for the conference that their school plays in. You know, if my school can't make it, I at least want this school that I absolutely hate for 1 week out of the year to at least get the victory over that other conference. So that's the only thing I can think of because I don't think there are too many Yankees fans rooting for Red Sox teams and
Celtics, Lakers, who
yeah,
play tonight.
yep.
Shaman on Madonna.
I agree. True words never spoken. There are going to be scouts and college coaches in the stands tonight because American Heritage is bringing athletes. So this is an opportunity for the Indians to showcase what they're all about. I mean, they believe they are elite. Coach Beasley said it himself. He said, "Yeah, American Heritage may be elite, but so are we." He said that at the pep rally yesterday. These players genuinely believe that this game can be won, and I'm starting to believe them.
Right, and this is a loose quote, but I believe during that said pep rally yesterday, Frank Beasley said, "They have this, they have that, they have this, they have that, but so do we."
Yeah. You know, one thing that Coach Frank Beasley has not done this season is mince words about expectations for this football team. Kevin, you remember that interview that we had in his office before week one even happened, and he said if the goal, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's something to the effect of if the goal isn't state, then what's the point? What's the point of the mission?
Absolutely, and not only did he talk about showing the kids the picture of the '90 state championship team, who will always be the measuring stick of Choctaw football until somebody else achieves that feat. But he said they showed the kids the video of the parade down Racetrack Road. But one thing that Frank said that really has stuck with me all year is he said, "Pressure is a privilege."
Ooh. Yeah, we. You're absolutely right. We've talked so much Choctaw, and we haven't even mentioned St. Augustine one time. And and we wouldn't be here without the incredible performance last week by Taman Zabatakis, who was just otherworldly in his performance last week. He really stepped up to his nickname, the Taminator, and I mean, he was methodical in that first drive. It was like 8 minutes and 5 seconds taken off the clock right off the bat, and this is on the heels of a very unfortunate road loss in that same stadium the year before, where it was a tough 13-6 defeat. I think that was the score. You know, Seth Stringer brought up a really good point yesterday as our guest. He said that Taman Zabatakis is quietly on the cusp of becoming a 2,000 passer and a 1,000 yard rusher. And his touchdown to interception ratio is like 27-6.
26-4.
It's just nuts. He did throw one last week, but it wasn't his fault. It was tipped. And the young man just buckles down and continues to make the right decisions and do what needs to be done. I'm hearing some music in the background. Does that mean we're going to break, Brady? All right, perfect. Well, we've got a lot more to talk about in the next hour of Fort Walton Beach, what we're doing. We're going to have Irish Bill Hamill as our afternoon interview segment of the day at the top of the next hour, or bottom. Anyway, the 4 p.m. segment. Thank you for listening to Fort Walton Beach, What We Did. Is 4 p.m. the bottom of the hour or the top of the hour?
Top.
Why can't I make that make sense in my head? If I say 4 p.m. the bottom of the hour or top of the hour? If I say some of that next segment is the top of the hour, is that correct? Okay, so we're going off the top. I don't know why I was thinking backwards there.
Kevin, what song you want? Tell me.
Yeah, what song,
I
Kevin?
was just going to hold that up to you.
Cherokee People.
Paul Revere.
All right, nice.
What else
It's
you got
called
on?
Indian Reservation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna have Irish Bill. I've got some community.
What a
events.
nice guy. I'm so glad we got
Yeah.
to meet him for that
In fact,
Navarre
he,
game.
he asked if he could come up to the press box. So if you're really not going to be there, we may ask him to come in.
Yeah.
But I still want you like for pregame and halftime.
I'll
if
be
you
there
can
at
do that.
halftime for sure. Pre-game, I don't know, just because seats are so first come.
You
first
deserve
served.
to enjoy
Yeah,
this
you're right,
with your,
you're right,
with
you're
your
right.
friends and stuff, though.
Okay, cool. How long
We
do
were
we have
for
on
it.
this break, by the
We
way?
have 5 more minutes.
Okay, cool.
So I'll get Bill on the phone. If we need a caller late, I can call the Peters residents. They have the Spirit Boys all there.
Okay.
I know some of them.
Yeah.
Seth Stringer said we can call him.
Okay.
Some of them are napping right now. I got a pretty rancid picture of one of my guys on the couch just like that.
No, if you can get them, I would love to have that. Yeah.
Thanks for watching. If I know you,
Did you
and I
call
love
Bill?
you.
Because he's texting me. You calling me?
I'll go ahead and call him.
Oh, I didn't know this was a nice footrest here.
So.
Thank you.
That's just annoying.
Yeah, the wood to do a lot.
Let's build some structure here.
Some engineering right there.
There we go.
My future bachelor's degree.
All right. This is not charging. I'm gonna move this away from my computer.
So are we gonna finish this with a prediction?
Maybe.
I hope not. can't say goddamn on the air.
Don't worry, nobody's listening.
Did you hear Jeff mark out for that at the Turkey Bowl?
Hey, oh, hey, woo, 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 woo.
So you said you didn't have any high-priced talent. Don't forget about Dorn. He's all high-priced.
This guy here is dead.
Cross him off the list then. Cherokee people, Cherokee Parks, so proud to live, so proud.
Hey, Kevin just passed the karaoke test. Thank you. That was Kevin Horgan karaoke Kevin coming at you with Paul Revere and the Raiders and Indian Reservation. And speaking of the Raiders, yeah, what a segue. We've got our afternoon interview of the afternoon wow, that was kind of redundant, wasn't it? The afternoon interview of the afternoon of the interview. Irish Bill Hamill, thank you so much for joining us. How you doing, my friend? Ooh, well played. Nice ref. You're aging yourself there, sir. Yeah, well, what do you think? I mean, Choctaw is obviously not the Cherokee Nation, but they have adopted that song for use in their Indianette and cheerleader dance for decades. I know that you are the voice of the Raiders along with Bob Grant, and I think if you have a third guy, I'm leaving him out. I'm sorry. Yeah, you guys do a great job, and I know that you've watched a lot of Navarre football, but here in the playoffs, how have you had a chance to follow Choctaw? You're right. Yeah, the score, I guess, wouldn't indicate how close it or how worrisome it was for the Vikings in the beginning. That's for sure. I do remember Danny Werfel connecting with Scott Holtz on like an 84-yard touchdown pass that kind of opened things up, and it was a really good game. We definitely were. You have your thumb on the pulse of a lot of sports. You have you have like a IB Sports. That's your page, correct? I actually wanted to pick your brain about how it is that you combine the technology that you do. Kevin's been talking to me all season long about how can we take our audio and marry it to a video feed, and it sounds like you guys have kind of cracked the code as far as that goes. That's great, man. Yeah, I definitely want to pick your brain about how to do that.
Yeah, and I know that Brady, just to piggyback off what you said, Heritage will be starting a converted linebacker, Jonathan Bueno, which I want to call him Jonathan Good. Their linebacker will be starting at running back tonight for them.
Oof.
He's good.
Well, I can tell you. Uh,
Yeah. Byron Cowart, who was the number one recruit according to the ESPN Top 150 that year.
yeah, that was the year they had Byron Cowart, right?
You know, folks, to date myself a little bit, Bill here, I got a chance to meet him in person for the first time at the game this year. Bill, it was really nice to meet you. I don't know if you've retired yet or not, but I hope if you haven't, that's coming soon. But if you guys don't know, Bill is a little bit more familiar with Choctaw than you may think. Choctaw and Navarre were district foes for, I believe, 4 years. And Bill, correct me if I'm mistaken, I believe 2 of those 4 years, Choctaw met not only in the regular season, but in the playoffs as well.
This is why we have the experts that we have on this show. You're listening to Irish Bill Hamill, and he is our afternoon interview segment of the day, sponsored by Miracle Strip Body Shop, open in business since 1966. Bill, thank you so much. And you mentioned that you're going to be at the game tonight. I hope that you'll get a chance to stop by the press box to say hello as well. Well, Bill, thank you so much. I hope that you'll consider coming back and being a guest again on this show, maybe even coming into the studio sometime. We really appreciate your insight on all things, not just high school sports, but your IB Sports Facebook page is just, it's full of all sorts of information, and you're definitely an authority on this subject matter. So I really appreciate it. Irish Bill Hamill, thank you so much. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We'll see you tonight.
Congratulations on your retirement, Bill.
You're listening to Fort Walton Beach, What We're Doing with Gareth Stearns, Kevin Horgan, and Brady Brooks. We'll be back at you with some more community news and Chalk Dot Talk in the next segment. All right.
Did Byron Cowart play in that 2017 or 2014 Armwood game?
I know, right?
What a spot.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Pat. What?
Yeah.
How long?
Okay.
Brady, is the eldest Peter sibling going to be there tonight? I know he's got to make the trip from Crestview.
That's yours.
Okay. Hey.
Yo. Okay. What? 440? What, Blake Peters? Okay. Okay.
I think I know him.
Is it still ringing?
Yeah. Are we going to call him Blake Peters coming off a tremendous performance in the Turkey Bowl?
Say again?
Are we going to say Blake Peters coming off a tremendous performance in the Turkey Bowl? Okay, good. A 9-touchdown performance, I believe.
You do good work. Yeah, you do good work, Brady. You do great work, as a matter of fact. And if you can think of anyone that is maybe a junior or preferably someone that's got your passion and ability that we could have for maybe longer than 1 year, I would like to maybe hold a do you want to wear the headset competition to replace you for next season. Yeah, tradition never graduates at Choctawhatchee, and I got a cool story to share. And I shared this on Facebook earlier, but it would be apropos to also share on the radio. I got a message from one of my good Facebook friends, Matt Huffman. I almost said Mike Huffman. It's his brother. I played soccer at Megs with Mike. But Matt Huffman was one of the defensive ends and outside linebackers on that 1990 state championship football team. And he sent me a message this morning. He said, Gareth, hey, I'm in town. Can you stop by the Chick-fil-A on Eglin Parkway? I've got something I want to show you. And I said, yeah, sure. I was at the First Friday Coffee, and it was just it was just finishing up the Chamber of Commerce, and I jetted on over there. And Mr. Huffman presented me with 2 items, actually 3 items. One he will be wearing tonight, his game-worn green state championship jersey that was involved in the 13-10 victory over Sarasota Riverview. And he caused a fumble in that game that led to 3 points, and that game was decided by 3 points. So good job 35 years ago on that, Matt Huffman, I'm sorry. Yeah. Yes, that's part of the story. He said, "I actually want you to wear this tonight for good luck." He presented me their the official state championship ring, and I'm showing it because we're on Facebook Live now, on YouTube. Sorry, on Kevin's YouTube stream. Here, I'll there you go. And and it's. I have not been able to put my hand into the pocket of my skinny jeans all day.
Are you able to take it off? I think that's going to be the
Yeah,
key
actually,
at the end of
look
the
at
day.
that. I tested it 3 times,
Pretty
and
effortless.
it's the perfect fit, actually, and it's gleaming. And I had no idea that the players actually received these rings. It's got a look of a class ring to it, but it's definitely larger than your standard class ring, and it's got a number 1 in the middle and a green emerald and engravings all around. It's got GATA on it, and that might be the earliest ring that actually uses those letters. And if you're not curious, if you've always been curious what those letters mean, GATA, it's actually spoken out as GATA or GATA, and it ties back to that historic 1990 season. And Kevin, I don't want to paraphrase the story, but do you have any more details on how the whole GATA thing came to be?
It was a moniker and a slogan that was just adopted by the team. Once they realized that they were true contenders, they were undersized, and they wanted something a little bit of an attitude, and they wanted a slogan to go with that attitude. So "Get After Them Aggressively" was adopted. If I can get off track and just get a second here, talking about the state championship ring, I will not mention him by name, but there was a player on that 1990 state championship team that lost his state championship ring on the Okaloosa Island beach less than a week after getting it, and has never found it to this day. It could still be there, Brady.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, I don't need a ring here or there. Obviously, I would be really cool to have one, but just to be able to play a small fringe part on the outskirts of this season, and be able to share the successes and the tribulations of this team all season long with you, not only in the press box but here on Fort Walton Beach. What we're doing, it's just been a true pleasure, a true honor, and I'm very thankful of Matt Huffman, who is allowing me to wear his state championship ring tonight for good luck. He will be wearing his state championship game-worn jersey. He actually gave me his road jersey for the Lake City game that year. He said, "This little smudge on the shoulder, that's your Lake City colors right there. That was a sack." And so I've got that jersey tonight to wear as well. So it's just a continuation of how tradition never graduates at Choctaw. The school is magical. It just keeps pulling people back and bringing the community together.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more, Gareth. And kind of piggybacking off that subject, there will be 3 Division I Power 5 current football players that were Choctaw alum that will be at tonight's game. Oh, talking about tradition never graduates.
Yes, we want to pack the Joe. I don't think they're bringing out the aluminum bleachers because I'm not entirely sure that they were certain that the community would turn out given the inclement weather. And just judging right now as I look out the window, it's kind of hit or miss. Our weather apps say that the rain is going to taper off, and if that happens, it'll kind of align perfectly because we do want the biggest turnout possible at Joe Etheridge Stadium. We do not want the inclement weather to push you away. So if we could. If we could have it dial things back, and the field's already going to be a slippery, muddy mess. I'm going to go ahead and dub this game the Mud Bowl before the coin flip, and as far as Choctaw all season long, the closest we've come to any sort of weather like this was the Arnold game, or was it South Walton?
No, there was a delay at Arnold.
Yeah, and I remember the bottom absolutely falling out of the sky in the pregame, and both teams stayed out there with the assumption that it was going to continue like that, and then it was the most beautiful sunset right after that, and it was just a wet, sloppy field, and I think that's probably the closest game scenario that I can think of that the Indians have faced. Of course, it was a lot warmer conditions a couple months ago as well.
Yeah, we're in jeans and not shorts now. That's how you can tell.
Yeah, very true.
But I can also tell you that, and Gareth, you can tell, you can speak to this. About 10 minutes ago, it was an absolute monsoon outside.
It was. It cannot make up its mind, and my weather app has been playing fibs on me all day. It's saying it's going to taper off, and this morning it seemed like the weather was going to be done at this time of day an hour ago, but that doesn't seem to be the case. We're not in control of that. We can only control what we can control, and the Indians have been in control for almost the entire season. Definitely throughout the playoffs, they have outscored their opponents in the last 3 games of these playoffs by a total of 107 to 54. So yes, even though they trailed in the last 2 games and it required a deep third quarter double-digit comeback victory, they are just 1 point shy of doubling the output of their opponents.
Is there anybody, or can either one of you two, do you have the number off the top of your head of what Choctaw has had to outscore their opponents in the fourth quarter of the playoff games these years to pull out these last 2 come from behind victories?
We were down by 11 at St. Augustine deep in the third quarter.
I've heard 22-0. Down 20-7 third quarter and down 20-13 fourth quarter. So there's another 7, and we scored 14. So 14 plus the 8 in St. Augustine, I believe 22-0 is correct, because let's face it, we don't need to count the Booker T. Washington game.
No, we don't. Yeah, and well, the Indians remain undefeated in the playoffs, and that's why the game is happening tonight. A game against American Heritage, the Patriots out of Plantation, Florida, who, if this game was being played in Plantation, the kickoff weather would be 77 degrees and not a cloud in the sky. And they actually won't experience any weather that will touch the highs of our temperature today all week down there, which is actually a good sign for Choctaw next week when they travel down there for the state championship. Yeah, there's no question, and it's plug and play there. They lost their quarterback, they signed another one. They lost their starting running back last week, and he was replaced by a sophomore who went off for 150 plus yards. So it's just next man up mentality, and it's going to be really cool to see this sort of Hoosiers storyline play out on the field at Etheridge Stadium tonight, Kevin?
And the only question is who's going to be our Jimmy Chitwood tonight?
Ooh, that's.
You guys have any predictions on who might be our Jimmy Chitwood tonight?
I like that. Kyler Galkowski is 6 of 7 on his field goal attempts this year, and he's got some very active parents that are very appreciative of all of the flowers that we've been giving him all season long. And we've been saying that we're going to have to rely on his leg at some point. Maybe tonight's the night.
And this would be the biggest stage of all nights.
You're listening to For Walton Beach, What We're Doing. Gareth Stearns, Kevin Horgan, and Brady Brooks. We'll catch you on the next segment. All right.
How long is this one?
How long is this segment? Is that break? I'm going to do this day in history and just events that happened throughout history of that list. That'll get us a chalk out break, and then we'll be able to pump things back up.
The last 50 years.
Cool. All right.
That 90 state championship ring makes me want to get a metal detector and go out behind Rocky
Yeah, I know.
Tacos this week.
Were you aware that Jeff had one? I mean, have you ever seen his?
Yes. I've worn it.
Greg commented on there. Matt Hoffman was one heck of a football player and a great guy to boot.
You know, here's a really interesting tidbit of information. Not one person listening or anybody in this room knows that Greg Peters was on the 1990 state championship team. He was not in the program, and he wore
Does he
number.
have one of these?
Yes, he was number 19, and he was not in the program, and he was a wide receiver.
Nice. He was tall.
It's always been a mystery because I believe whoever did the games for Channel 6 said, we don't have it on his roster, but we can guarantee his mom and daddy will be calling up here Monday morning telling us exactly who he is. They did not. Basketball season put a stop to that.
I'm going to take a leak real quick.
Chris or Kelly?
Yeah.
Hey. I like this old logo. Did you ever see our diamond logo from the early 2000s that we got from NC State? That was good. I like that one. And that was not a popular one, but I liked it. I think that was a basketball. Basketball did that. Which big win last night against Coach Memon, former head coach in Panama City Bay. I don't know if we want to talk about that. Yeah. And I talked to Coach Bennett this morning in depth, and he said it was really nice to beat Coach Choctaw Boys beat Bay last night in basketball. And Bay's head coach was our head coach the last 3 years, and he up and left us He was the one before Wiley,
Oh, okay.
Michael
okay.
Memon.
Okay.
And
I thought you were talking about Wiley. I was like,
and
Wiley.
I said, did anybody on the team actually play for him? He said, just Michael Collins and Camry. But he said nice guy, but it was nice to beat him. So Choctaw's Choctaw's basketball's two leading scorers are a 9th and a 10th grader.
Wow.
That is great to hear. And of course, they're waiting for Taman.
I do. Some fun facts. Well, one of my favorite hats that I wear around around this studio is the ability to wear my local historian hat, I guess. And I have the pleasure of recording a This Day in Okaloosa County History segment every day. And it's sponsored by Sue Botello at Waterstone Mortgage. Her offices are located right behind, kind of across the street from, right behind Rad Bar, really. So like down Staff Drive and behind Popeyes. And if you ever in the need for a mortgage or any questions about anything related to realty, she is the person to reach out to. That's Waterstone Mortgage. They are the local experts and they have the big time solutions. I come in here every morning around 4 a.m. and do my research on what has happened throughout history on this particular date. And for this particular one, there was a news story that showed up in 1963 of how schools were responding to the assassination of JFK. And there was a big push for civic knowledge and appreciation for the country. So this is where the Pledge of Allegiance became the natural routine every single morning, and we learned what it meant to be an American and what made living in America special. And there was the first attempt by the schools to actually put some sort of curriculum behind that thought process. Very well said. And to have that profound perspective at 17 years of age is really cool. I just continue to say that all season long. You continue to impress me with your profound wisdom, Brady Brooks. Yeah, for my parents, that was a watershed moment, and your parents too, Kevin. When we were kids, what do you think that our JFK moment was? That sort of indelible moment that we all were our faces were couldn't turn away from the TV screen because something earth-shattering or news-shattering had happened.
Well, two things come to mind: the Challenger and Columbine.
Very good. Yeah, the Challenger was the one that I was thinking of as well. I don't know if I've made it up in my head or not, but for some reason I picture being in the multi-purpose room at Ocean City and us having watched the takeoff, because Krista McAuliffe was a teacher. She was the first non-astronaut to have the opportunity to go into space. And fun fact, she actually graduated from the same high school that my father did up in New Hampshire, Concord High School. And
is that Carlton Fisk as well?
It might be. Wow, good shoot, Kevin. Very good. Very good. So yeah, I want to thank Sue Botello for sponsoring my daily This Day in Okaloosa County History segments. It's one of the funnest things that I get to do. I want to read a couple other events that have happened this week throughout Okaloosa County history, and let me know what you guys think about this. Back in 1925, 100 years ago, on December 5th, the plans for the very first Destin Bridge were moving forward. Wow. Now, Okaloosa County authorized engineering surveys for what would become the original Marlar Bridge connecting Destin to the mainland. This was a big deal back in the day. In order to get from Pensacola to anywhere east of there, you had to go up the Intracoastal Waterway on a boat, and that's where all the mail stops were as well, in the town of Harris and Mary Esther and Boggy and Camp Walton in 1908. And the first bridge, the first Marlar Bridge, would ultimately be built in the early 30s, right around the same time that the first Brooks Bridge was built. And that connectivity between Pensacola and Panama City was just absolutely huge for the Emerald Coast. In 1939, USO morale centers began forming, with troop numbers rising around Eglin Field. Federal support centers for airmen in Fort Walton and Valparaiso were authorized. These were early precursors to the World War II era USO facilities. Just a couple of days prior to the attack on Pearl Harbor back in 1941, there was a news report about how local residents had heard radio bulletins of there being heightened security at Eglin Field, and this, of course, accelerated wartime test operations. So there's lots of stuff. You know, as small as this town is, it's not too small that you run out of things to talk about, and it's also not too big that you just become so encumbered by all of the different memories. You know, let's take our first job, for instance. Brady, what was your first job in this area? Definitely a city icon. So are you at the Beale Parkway or Eglin Parkway location? Is it your pleasure?
What are our chances of getting some upgrade on the waffle fries if you're there? Honey roasted peanuts.
I appreciate you saying that. That was a really good rundown. And I tell you what, if you can get your boss, Mr. Matthew Sexton, to maybe come into the studio someday, I'd love to talk about his entrepreneurial spirit and what he's done for this community.
He is a huge Choctaw supporter.
Yes, very true. And about that Choctaw game, I'm seeing, I want to respond to some of the comments I'm seeing on Facebook. I want to definitively say there will be no Facebook live stream from me for this game. All right. There's only 14 games taking place in the state of Florida tonight, and the spotlight is on the Panhandle. And I was followed on Facebook earlier today by the FHSAA, and they subsequently liked and heart reacted several of my earlier in the season Facebook posts. So no, there will be no Facebook Live. The only legal way to actually see a video feed of this game will be through the NFHS network. And that is something that the school itself is tied into. So they do it for football and basketball and volleyball. So it is a subscription-based service. I will say this, a little bit of a spoiler. As soon as this show ends, I'm going to go over there and try to figure out a way to marry the audio of our radio broadcast to that camera so that we can not just have a steady video feed for anyone that does subscribe to the NFHS network. That is not something I am affiliated with, so if it does not work, please don't complain to me. You can always mute us if you don't like what you hear as well, if you subscribe. Yeah, thank you so much. You're listening to Fort Walton Beach, What We're Doing, and we're going to have one more guest on the backside of this next break. It's going to be Blake Peters? Blake Peters, all right, one of the Spirit Boys. Thank you so much for listening.
I hope he doesn't call me Terp on the air.
You're not a fan of that name?
Not on the air. Son of Choctaw royalty.
Mm-hmm.
And former Choctaw quarterback and current baseball player.
How long is this next segment?
12 minutes.
Okay. All right.
12 minutes, so you're going to come back for 2 minutes?
How long is the break?
Oh, okay, never mind.
Seconds.
Does that headset you're wearing come to the games, or does that stay here?
What's that?
Is that one of the ones for the games, or does that
Yes,
stay here? Your headset?
yes, this is one of the ones for the games. I gotta remember to take it. So I gotta remember to take it.
Right.
All right, thank you so much for tuning in to Fort Walton Beach, What We're Doing. Holy moly, it is a Big Green Indian. They're going to be taking on the Patriots of American Heritage tonight at Etheridge Stadium. We want you to pack the Joe. We're getting breaking news that it is close to being sold out, if not completely sold out already. You can check at the GoFan website. That is the only place to get tickets for this game. Our pregame coverage is going to begin at 6:30 p.m. on this same radio station, FM 94.3, News Talk 94.3. Same station we've been bringing to you all season long. It's been a wonderful opportunity to share the press box with you two gentlemen, Kevin Horgan and Brady Brooks. And Brady, you have on the phone with us a couple of your compadres with the Spirit Boys. So let's talk to them.
My dear friend, we have both new Spirit Boys, both first time Spirit Boys, and Johnny Red, how are y'all doing? We're doing great. We brought you on today. Obviously, your dad, Josh Sullivan, yesterday. How is this tour? I heard that he made you out of town.
Yes, let's get after their asses. I said it. That's my third curse word this week on the radio. But I've been told that that's actually an okay curse word. I tried to get Ballpark Frank to give me a list of curse words I could not say on the radio live, but he wasn't playing ball. So, a fun fact about Blake Peters, he was actually an all-star. Kevin, I don't want to take your story away from you. Can you tell me about his all-star performance last week?
Yeah, Blake probably took home the MVP of the Turkey Bowl. I know he either threw or accounted for 9 touchdowns in just about an hour and a half worth of football. So tremendous performance by Blake last Thursday.
I think it's a shame you couldn't join us for that Turkey Bowl, Brady. I understand you were, what was it, under the weather or under the thumb of your parental units?
It's under the pedal of the metal.
Yeah, very true. We'll hold a spot for you, and we want to invite you to our pregame coverage at 6:30 tonight on FM 94.3. And the entire Panhandle is turning out. As a matter of fact, before we went live for this radio show, right around 2:55, we got a call from a reporter over at WEAR3 ABC out of Pensacola. And he did an interview with all three of us via FaceTime Live, and I believe he said that's going to be playing during the 6 o'clock hour. So, is that correct? Yeah, no kidding. And we hope to see all of yourselves out there at Etheridge Stadium. We understand that it is a sellout or very close to it. And we expect to see those seats full in a sea of green or black. We've got some white towels to go with the blackout shirts. We had some confusion as to what fans should actually wear, and really just show up. So come on out. You will probably have a wet stadium seat to sit on, but you're going to be handed a towel at the get-go. So it is a multi-purpose utility item that can wipe down the seat and be used to helicopter a throng of Indian fans to victory, to help them achieve victory. They're going to have to be the 12th man tonight against the Patriots of American Heritage, who traveled the 8.5-hour bus ride all the way yesterday through the rain and muck, and they're going to be playing on that field at Joe Etheridge Stadium about 5:36, about 2 hours from now. So we're gonna have to button things up here and really get all of our equipment together and head on over to Joe Etheridge Stadium so that we can get set up. We are going to try to marry our radio broadcast to the school's NFHS network feed. I can make no guarantees of that. Go ahead and subscribe to it. You'll get a video feed without us, no matter what. But we're going to try to enhance the experience by adding our radio broadcast to it. So if that happens, that's awesome. If not, please tune in to our radio broadcast, 94.3. We're going to be with you all evening long. For Kevin Horgan and Brady Brooks, this is Gareth Stearns for Walton Beach, What We're Doing. All right, good show.
Not bad.
Do you think you want to do it again?
Yeah, anytime I can from a work-related schedule. There are days I could even leave and come back.
You know, as a side hustle, this job, like, you could do the same thing that I'm doing. Like, if you sold, hey, I'm on this radio show. If you wanted batteries
I do it
plus
every day.
to sponsor. You get 20% of everything that you sell.
I
So-
do it every day. We gotta, and I've been told that if we finish in the top 4 in the district, that he will agree to it. Top 4 in sales in the district for